everybody. Welcome. I'm oddly ahead of schedule and I'm kind of excited about that, but let's not come to expect too much in the future, shall we? This video tutorial, in any case, is about giving you some strategies and things you can think about when you're thinking or wondering, well, what way do I go about comparing two texts? Because obviously that's what you need to do for this unit. Anyway, jibber jabber aside, the learning intention of this is to learn how to draw connections, contrasts and parallels between texts. Yeah, I took that straight out of the literature study guide because that's what you got to learn. I've even put in that wonderful bit in brackets explaining it. Success criteria: you'll obviously write a compare and contrast essay on the novel and the film of The Gatsby. So what do you need to do the best job? You need to understand how text represent personal, social or cultural concerns. Yeah, we know. You need to be able to explore and comment on literary features particular to the two texts. Yeah, we know. And you need to be able to make appropriate reference to textual detail to support a comparative interpretation. So that's using evidence, people. That's using the evidence. Things you can compare and contrast about two texts. And this is nothing new because obviously you've watched the video tutorials and applied this knowledge within class, haven't you? Alright, narrative voice is something you can compare and contrast. It's the voice that speaks or tells a story. We know this, as in first person, third person, protagonist, etc., etc. You can also compare the narrative structure. Alright, now I've put two. It's kind of a big deal, narrative structure, and there's a lot to it, so I've put two together. There's the one that talks about beginning, middle and end, and then there's the other bits. Narrative style and presentation is another one. This is kind of a complicated concept, so I'll spend some time on it. It's the distinguishing way that writers employ language and their words to accomplish certain effects. So in terms of writing style, we can talk about word choice, we can talk about the way it's all put together, basically. We can talk, yeah, the whole deal. Significant ingredient of interpreting and understanding fiction is paying attention to the way the author uses words. So syntax, structure, and narrative techniques. So those two above apply into this narrative style and presentation stuff. Obviously within a film, we can talk about also the visuals that are employed. Whereas when we're talking about the novel, we can only talk about the way the author uses words to create visuals. Okay? And that's the key thing here. We need to be able to talk about the actual visuals of Luhrmann, which, let's face it, they're ridiculous, and compare them with the visuals that Fitzgerald creates using words. We can talk about narrative, literary and cinematic techniques or features. Alright, so if we ignore the narrative bit, we know about literary techniques or literary features, and we also know a little bit about cinematic techniques. Okay, so I've said think about metaphor, imagery, repetition, motif, foreshadowing, dramatic irony and the other techniques. And so it is important that we distinguish between literary techniques in the novel and cinematic techniques in the film. Alright, so cinematic techniques, we're talking about camera angles and different types of shots and the general the effects that are used visually. Alright, visually, but also in terms of cuts and things, scene transitions. You need to consider those that achieve a similar effect on the audience and those that have differing effects. Now we need to also compare how these two texts, because they are different, right? They're not the same, even though one's based on the book. Differences. We need to consider social and cultural values that these two appear to support, promote, whatever. How a text reflects or comments on the values of society or culture that it's situated in. Alright, so key point here. Luhrmann's filmed, created, situated in the 2000s. However, the film itself is obviously set in the 1920s, as is the text. Difference is the text itself was actually written in the 1920s as well. Let's think about that. Historical context, again, same deal. You know, where is it set? Where is it situated historically? Think in terms of when it was written, where in history the narrative itself is set. Author. Who is the author? How is their perspective framed? What does their context and body of work tell us about them? The text, the novel, is written by F. Scott Fitzgerald. The film is based on his work, but it is written and directed by Baz Luhrmann. Okay? Not Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald had nothing to do with the movie other than giving the idea for it. And the central concerns, or the authorial contention. What message is the story trying to put across? What are the themes, ideas, concerns that are central to the plot of the narratives? And again, different in some ways. Right? Luhrmann emphasizes and sometimes even ignores. It emphasizes some themes that Fitzgerald put together and some ideas and concerns, and ignores others. Right? You got to understand that he doesn't put in everything that's in that book. That's it. You can go now back to whatever it was you were doing, plotting world domination, complaining that learning's so hard I've got to watch a 6-minute video. Whatever it is, thank you very much for watching, and ta-da, bye.